It's easy to see how quickly we can be overwhelmed by information. Managing what comes into our inbox and how it's displayed is a great asset. What many power users have long known is that we tend to repeat the same task throughout the day. For example, if I receive an email, I might forward it to my manager or send a reply to my entire team. These are things I might do several times in a day. If I'm really on my Outlook game, I might do a little more, like file the incoming message, as well as my response, to a folder after having replied to it. I think you get the idea that much of what we do is more than just one click or one task. What many users have also known for quite a while is those types of repetitive activities can be simplified by using automation. In the past, macros were one way to do that, but we didn't use macros in Outlook very much, certainly not like they were used in Word or Excel. Fortunately, the Outlook team realized that we do repetitive things, so they've introduced a new tool called Quick Steps. And they're pretty much what they sound like, the ability to do a task in one step rather than in several steps. We see the quick steps right from the ribbon in their own group, and we see that several are predefined. For example, move to team email, reply and delete to manager, done, and then something called create new. Let's take a look and see how we might use some of these. I have this email called Upgrading to Outlook. What are some things I might want to do with this? Well, if I wanted to reply to my manager, but I didn't want to keep a copy of this message, I could use reply and delete. And you'll see that when you pause over something, you get a tooltip that tells you exactly what it does, replies to the sender, and then deletes the original message. Well, that's interesting, but what else can we do? We could certainly use the To Manager option. That forwards the selected mail to the manager. But since this came from my manager, I don't want to forward it back. I want to do something else with it. I could try this Done option. This will mark the selected email as complete, move the email to a folder, and mark the email as read. Well, that certainly could be useful coming into my inbox. That will do 3 or 4 things. Let's see what happens when we click that one. Often the first time you use Quick Steps, Outlook will need more information. In this case, it's going to do several things, and it doesn't know enough to be able to do all of those things. For example, I need to give it a name, and then to define specifically what the actions are. We can see that it's going to mark it complete, that it's going to move it to a folder, and it will mark it as read. It can certainly be marked complete and read, but we have to choose which folder to send it to. So I'll start by giving this a name. I'll call it Outlook Conversion, and I'll abbreviate Conversion. Then I'll select a folder, and if you recall, Michael already has a folder defined for all of this conversion type of information, so all I have to do is select that from the list. I'll use the drop-down, and it's not the inbox, but it's in other folders, so I'll go there. This will expand things so I can see what I need to see, and I'll select the Outlook Conversion folder and click OK. That's all I have to do for this particular one, so I'll click Save. Now I'm ready, and you'll also see that the default name of Done has been changed, and it's called Outlook Conversion in my Quick Steps. Now you can also see why I abbreviated that, because you don't necessarily have unlimited room, so abbreviations sometimes work a little better. I'll click that, and as you watch the screen flash around, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Beautiful! That's all there is to a Quick Step. But as I said, not only can we customize the ones that are built in by filling out all of the steps, we can also create our own. So let's try Create New. Suppose that one of Michael's activities or duties in his position with the training company is to send out new student information. He wants to take some of the different steps that he normally does as individual steps and consolidate them. So I'll name this New Student. The next thing we have to do is decide which task or series of tasks we want to complete. And we do this by using the Choose an Action drop-down. When Michael gets a message from anyone about a new student, there are a couple of things he wants to do. The first is to mark it as read. That's pretty simple. As we already saw, it doesn't require any other information. Then let's click the Add Action button, and we'll get a chance to do a second thing. This action is going to be to move it to a folder. This time, of course, we have to choose a folder. So we'll click on that drop-down, and I could say, well, maybe I don't want to move it to a specific folder. Maybe Michael wants to move it to a specific customer folder based on who the new student is. In other words, we'll have folders for different companies, and he wants to make sure that he's prompted for that. So we can say, always ask for a folder. We don't have to determine just one folder, and that makes it very flexible as well. As you can see, you can continue to add a lot of different actions. Basically, they have to do with filing things, copying it to a folder, for example, changing the status by setting things as important or not important, working with different categories. And categories really need to be used a lot more in Outlook than I think they currently are. You also can clear categories, and you can flag a message. Clear flag, mark complete, or create tasks with attachments and several others. As the last step, Michael needs to make sure that he doesn't forget to send out the new information. He's marked it as read, and he's moved it to a folder, but that could be dangerous. So the last step he'll do is flag the message. Then, of course, we need to choose a flag, and normally you would want these to be categorized and maybe customized as well. We'll always give Michael until the next day, so we can say, go ahead and mark it for tomorrow. I think you get the idea here. Depending on how you work and all the different things you do, you can create any combination you want and put them into a mini macro. In this case, it's called a quick step. You also have the ability at the bottom of this box to create shortcut keys, so you don't even have to move up to the ribbon. You can simply press a keyboard shortcut to execute the quick task. I recommend that you sometimes use your tooltip text. In this case, maybe I want to say, prepping new students for welcome packet. When you're finished, you click Finish, and there you go. We now have a new set. And we can see that is right up there at the top of our screen. And if we get a lot of quick steps, of course, this is just a gallery, and we can expand it to see all of the options. In addition, if you want to manage your quick steps, you can use the Manage Quick Steps option to modify your existing quick steps. This is one of the features that I found in Outlook that I have learned to love, because most of the things I do require more than one step. I'll press Escape to get out of this gallery, and I want to show you one more option. You might notice that we have an opportunity here for a sales meeting. Actually, it's a request. Can you schedule this, please? Well, there are a variety of things we could do. If it was for a team, we could send out a team email by using the quick steps. We could even configure some different things to work with it. But there's a step already in here that we can use. It's under the Respond category. Using the meeting option in the Respond category, it immediately creates a new meeting for us. In this case, it automatically addresses it to anybody who received the original message, people in the To field as well as the CC field. It also keeps the same subject. All you need to do is type in a location, choose a date and a time, add any other information. But I think you can see very simply that I don't have to do much of anything. I click on one button, everything is applied, I could change the date and time, and then all I have to do is click on Send, and everything else, like the addressing, is handled for me. This is telling me it doesn't have a location, just like 2007 did. And I can say, that's okay, send it anyway. So with just a few clicks, I was able to schedule a meeting. We see that there was a response to that original email. It's a sales meeting, but it's not an email. It's actually a calendar item for easy tracking purposes. Sometimes we find it hard to believe that we will ever get relief from information overload. Luckily for us, Outlook does a good job of simplifying it. By using quick steps, we can quickly and easily take in different kinds of tasks that normally go along with each message. We can automate them, just as macros have always done in different types of applications, but now we have access to doing so, and even creating our own custom quick steps as well.